Hey y'all, I'm back with another video, and y'all, I had to come on here to touch on this story that's gone viral about our girl, Lil Miss Icy, Saweetie, getting exposed by her road manager slash madam friend, Miss Maybach, who I've never heard of before. But this particular young lady went on a posting spree the other day on Instagram where she was sharing text messages, video clips, and not so thinly veiled threats to expose even more information about the singer and detailing how she is into skiing on the slopes. She's a snow enthusiast, if you catch my drift, and as well as a S to the cort. And basically saying that Saweetie dibbles and dabbles in witchcraft, right? She put all that on Front Street the other day. The actual stories that she posted have since been taken down, but thankfully, the people of TikTok were faster than that, and they did catch all of the receipts. So I want to share a clip that goes into more detail about exactly what went down the other day, as well as a few reactions, and then I'm going to come back with my thoughts on the situation. So stay tuned.
I don't know what this tea is, but it looks like Saweetie owes somebody some money. Okay, so this is Maybach May, and before she deleted her IG story, she was basically saying that Saweetie owed her some money, child. Now, apparently, allegedly, Saweetie owed her some money, but she's been ducking and dodging her, child, allegedly. Okay, so she started off with this in her IG story, and you could pause to read it, but essentially she said that she had booked Saweetie for a visit to the Chelsea Stadium, basically like PR. Now, she stated that that was her last post as like PR for her, and when Saweetie had went to the Chelsea Stadium, she had fell in love with some guy because I think she's dating some sort of soccer athlete. And then she told the guy that she was dating to not pay Maybach. Okay, so in her next story, you could pause to read it. She says, "I'll tell you a joke. I ain't never told a lie. I sent you to Dubai because you never balled before and depressed looking for a happy life." She goes on to say that took you to London, babes, took you to Nigeria, booked you for an Australian tour. I helped this girl so much, only for her to play with my money at the end. She said, "Pay up, head." And then she said, then she's going to start naming names of the rest of the husbands that she's been playing with. Then in this next post, she tags Saweetie and she says, "I see you playing internet games on Beyonce's internet, child. Let me know how you want to play this." She said, "I'm either going to receive my funds from you or I can start addressing some of them rumors." And then she added TMZ. And then she goes on to say that because they had spent a month together in Africa, because she stated in her previous post they were in Nigeria, that essentially she got her secrets. And then in this post, I redacted what she said earlier. She said, "Booger sugar, witchcraft, and liquor is one hell of a mix. Send me my bread, home wrecker." And then she adds Saweetie again. Now, I didn't really understand the context of this text thread, but you could pause to read it. But in the caption here, she said, "Sancho, after you're done paying and getting tattoos for HOE, you barely know, run me my money." Now, mind you, she's deleted these from her stories, but she has been continuously posting on IG like all day. So as soon as she posts something else about whether she got her funds or not, child, I'm going to keep y'all posted.
So not only did Sweetie's friend blast her for doing the Pepsi Cola, now she's saying that she's hired and that she hasn't paid her the money back. And then when you try to look for the stories are gone. They still follow each other as of right now. But this is crazy. Like, and people are like, "Oh, like, why don't we just all expose Sweetie for who she really is?" Da-da-da. I'm like, I don't know. If you want to do that, then fine. But I mean, that is pretty crazy though. Honestly, if I ever blow up, I owe you some money, just text me. Just text me. Like, just call me, just text me like, "Yo, like, I'm about to sue you." He'll get the money back. You don't have to go online in front of a bunch of people on Beyonce's internet and make 3 accusations against me. Like,
y'all, what is going on? Hold on, wait. Y'all, what is going on with Saweetie? Catch me up. They on Twitter saying she been pimping that pee out for the longest. And I understand the music industry is not uncommon. But like, who exposed it? What's going on? Like, why is they saying she be giving? Who she pimped it out to? Catch me up on the Saweetie lore, bro. Catch me up.
All right, so y'all get to hear those additional background details regarding this story about Saweetie, as well as those reactions. What do y'all think about her getting exposed for being an escort, lady of the night, as well as being into the snow and the witchcraft? Honestly, I feel like the whole, that whole her being into that particular type of rug and her playing with tarot cards and doing magic, I feel like that was probably the least surprising or scandalous aspect of that story. That's super common, not only just in the industry, but in general. I personally know people that indulge in skiing and snow. That's so common nowadays. Not endorsing it, and I don't partake in any of that, but that in and of itself is very common. There's everyday people that do that. So industry people doing that is no surprise. But I was seeing people that seemed to be surprised by the escort allegations, and I really wasn't. So were you guys surprised by that? Now, really quick, before anyone tries to call me a hater, I want to acknowledge the obvious that Saweetie is a very beautiful girl. Like, she's very pretty. When she first came on the scene, I actually was drawn to her because her aesthetic was so different than what the average rap girl was giving at that time. That whole classy, prissy girl that likes to rap but is also really smart. I loved that for her, and I always felt she should have stuck with that over the kind of hood aesthetic that she ended up kind of adopting over time. I didn't feel like that truly fit her to the same extent, but I always felt that her face card was top tier. I felt like she did herself a disservice when she got that BBL because she already had a classy shape, but again, I feel like she probably had a lot of pressure from men within the industry of having a particular look, especially as a rap girly, that she had to be giving that super thick, hood girl. Like, I don't know. Like, so I just want to say that. I want to acknowledge that first. Now, when it comes to her music and her talent, I've never fully seen it for her. I have a few of her songs downloaded to my Spotify playlist. I have Icy Girl. I remember liking the High Maintenance song. I liked her song with Doja. I liked My Type. So I have a couple of her songs for sure, but I never really considered myself a fan of her. And to this day, I don't know anybody that's like a fan of Saweetie. Like, I don't know anybody to be like, oh, that's my girl. Like, I go pay to see her in concert. So I know that she's still out here and making money. So what could she be making money doing? It would have to be escorting. It would have to be her being involved in that lifestyle, the yacht girl thing. It would have to be that, because her music isn't selling. You never hear about her touring significantly, and when you do hear about her, she is going random places overseas, like her going and being in Africa for like a month or whatever. I saw another clip of like her randomly being in Singapore. Like, I don't think that Saweetie has fans in Singapore, y'all. And you see certain like very popular women influencers getting flown out to very random locations, and they're going on tour, quote unquote, but they don't necessarily have a particular talent. A lot of times that is a front for escorting. Back in the day, you would see a lot of like the IG models doing that kind of thing. Like, you would see Bernice Burgos going to like Ghana and Nigeria a lot. And I love Bernice down, but y'all, Bernice still got no fans over there in Nigeria. Like, she might have some people that are fans of her, but she's not like a actual, like, Bernice is not a talent. She doesn't have a talent other than being beautiful. Like, so her going out there was very obvious that it was some man or men that paid to fly her out there. They paid for her to come to the club, and they all probably also paid to go home with her. That's usually how it works in these types of scenarios. And I could absolutely see Saweetie linking with a manager, in this case this madam, and having this lady book her these jobs where she gets with men and she sleeps with them for money. I can absolutely see that, and I can absolutely see this madam woman friend expecting a cut, because it was also her, like, she was in those videos where Saweetie was twerking in Nigeria. She was in there too. Like, I wouldn't even be surprised if she got down with Saweetie, like if she also partook in freak off activities with Saweetie. Like, I would not be surprised by that at all. And another thing that made this story very believable to me about Saweetie escorting was her industry connections that she had prior to even blowing up. Her dating Diddy's son, being connected to Justin, that alone lays the foundation for her being involved with escort activities, right? Because Justin is just like his father, and Justin always gave very strong P energy. He always gave very strong pimp energy. I believe his whole relationship with Bad Girl Winter from the Bad Girls Club gave very much like P and bottom B energy. It absolutely gave that. And just knowing Justin's level of involvement with Diddy's business and how he knows how his father gets down with the X trafficking and pimping out women, dealing with escorts, hiring escorts, I absolutely believe that Justin was beginning to follow in his father's footsteps. I only ever see him surrounded by women with a particular aesthetic that gives X work. So I have to assume that her linking with Justin, she probably did that for the purpose of him helping her get connected with people in the industry to sleep with in order to get opportunities. I'm sure he was the gateway for that, right? And let me touch on that really quick too, because another thing that people don't realize is that LA is known for having very strong pimp culture. Pimp culture is extremely strong in LA. X trafficking is huge in LA. Some of the three epicenters for X trafficking, for those that aren't aware, in the United States is New York, LA, and Atlanta. And I would be willing to bet money that LA edges out the other cities by a large margin. And the primary women that are X trafficked in the United States are Black women and Hispanic women. So that alone, like, and I've heard rumors that also Saweetie's mother was an escort at one point. I don't know the validity of that. I won't go into detail with that, but just her growing up in LA and having the aesthetic and visual presentation that she has, I can't help but think that she was probably indoctrinated into that lifestyle, and she sought it out as being something that she could always fall back on at the end of the day, because she's a smart girl. She did go to UCLA, but at the end of the day, like, if your main thing is getting money and that's your main goal, you're gonna try to get it by any means necessary if you're chasing money and fame. And I just find it very interesting that she has always surrounded herself with men of questionable integrity and dealings within the industry, because I also feel like YG is a pimp, right? I feel like YG has extremely strong P energy, and him also being from LA, like, it would definitely, like, something about their dynamic together just always gave that, because it's very toxic and they were known to fight and stuff like that, always gave that it wasn't like a genuine romantic connection. It was a pimp hoe dynamic. And that's really what I get off of that. So I wasn't surprised by any of this coming out. If anything, I'm more surprised that it's coming out this late. I'm surprised that more people haven't been discussing this being what's probably going on with Saweetie and how she's able to maintain herself, because that girl hadn't had a hit in I don't know how long. So how else was she getting money, right? But I will say that the fact that the Maybach May chick took everything down, to me, is also, and they're still following each other, to me that is an indication that she got her payment, like some type of check cleared. She got what she wanted out of the situation, and I wouldn't be surprised if they still continue to work with one another. Like, if she continues to have a working relationship with Saweetie being her client, or her, well, not her client, but like one of her girls, I wouldn't be surprised if she continues that relationship dynamic with that girl, because I just get this sense that Saweetie is operating from a place of desperation at this point. For this information to leak out because she owed this girl money and had been ducking her, that tells me that she's operating from a very low space at this point, because you also have to understand that when you are selling X, when you're at escorting, you aren't vibing high. You're not in the best mental state. And if you couple that with a potential rug addiction, and then her getting into witchcraft, specifically the ATRs, African traditional, like, I don't know if she's initiated into Ifa. I don't know if she's just going to Bob Lau's and asking for work to be done on her behalf. I don't know. But if she's to that point, I can only assume that she's feeling very desperate at this point, and she's feeling like she just doesn't have that many options to get out of her situation. So all I can say is I hope the best for her. I hope that she's able to spin this situation into something positive. I hope it doesn't continue to negatively impact her moving forward. I hope she's able to eventually leave this lifestyle, because it's honestly a dead end, really. And even with the fact that it got exposed, and this football player overseas that she's been seeing, him getting exposed as being more of like a trick or a client, it's not a good look for him either. And I can absolutely see this turning into a situation where he distances himself from her, he cuts her off, and then she's back to square one. So that's all I have to say on this topic, y'all. But definitely let me know your thoughts. Were you surprised to find out that Saweetie was involved in all of this stuff, like escorting and the drugs and the witchcraft? Leave a comment down below. Let me know. Until next time, I'll see y'all soon.